Recycling is one other way to make our cities and buildings and lives more resilient. In times of natural disasters, recycling is essential because first of all, you have to clean whatever is left out of the buildings and the cities that have been damaged by a natural disaster. So we want to reuse some of those materials before we start bringing new materials. And oftentimes in the beginning, right after a disaster, the only thing that's available on the ground and on site is what is left from the previous buildings. So we want to see how we can recycle materials for construction. How can we reuse parts of building and implement them in new buildings? How can we, for example, use wood that has been that comes from the ground or from forests that have been damaged and use it for rebuilding homes. The example that we looked into last year when we designed the resilient schools for the Philippines, there were millions of trees that were damaged and broken by the storm, and those trees were later the first material that was used for rebuilding the cities. We can also look into the waste that people produce. So how can we store better the waste? How can we make it less impactful for the environment? And how can we pollute the oceans, the rivers, and in general our environment less? So I invite you to look into all those examples and to see what the cities and buildings that you have been looking into have to teach us about recycling and about reusing buildings and the waste that we produce. And I look forward to seeing the results of your research on our meetings on Saturdays and also when you submit them online.